And welcome into another edition of the Sick Podcast with Draft Vogel. I'm John Vogel, your host. And today we've got a running back that's fresh out of Mobile. He's going to be headed to Indianapolis at the end of the month. And we can't be more excited to get a chance to chat with him and get to know a little bit more about his game. So, first, Shane, back there in the studio, let's get tonight rolling.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Draft Vogel.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the first pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, with the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft.
The sickest NFL draft show. It's gonna be sick.
And of course, as always, the Sick Podcast is presented by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the DraftKings code SICKSPORTS to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL bet. Well, NFL is pretty much over. We can bet on the draft still. Get involved with that. This might be a guy that you want to be putting some money on the draft parlays and different things that you can get involved with. But first, you got to download the app. Get involved, get that $200 in bonus bets, get involved with NBA, NHL, and March Madness is coming up on 2. We got all kinds of stuff to get involved with, so download it now. The crown is yours. So my guest tonight is Kimani Vidal, who is the running back out of Troy, and let's see if we can't bring him into this one. There we go. Kimani, man, how's it going tonight? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just chilling on this Valentine's Day evening.
Valentine's Day as a recording. Yep, and that's the Ashes. It's Ash Wednesday as well. Start of Lent. If you're not too familiar with that, that's why my face looks silly. I got all that black up on my forehead. It's burnt ashes. So, first off, I want to thank you for coming on, taking the time to join us. I was saying before you came in, and I was talking with the producer, and we were talking about going into the Senior Bowl week. There were some of us that were kind of having, at least on the media side, scouting side of things, that had some questions about the running back class in 2023, in the 2024 draft. And I think that you, along with several other guys there in Mobile this week, made some real cases to present that, hey, running back is fine. There's some real options here. And so I left Mobile feeling a whole lot better about the running back position personally. Now, for you, you've been playing running back pretty much your whole life, right?
Yes, sir.
When did football start for you? I always like to ask you guys this because these stories are almost always fascinating. So, like, what was it that got you into football? How did you start this journey?
My dad kind of introduced me to the game. He had played football. He had played at FAMU. Basically, he was the one that kind of got me into the game. I started out when I was 6 years old. And I've pretty much been playing ever since. I never really took a year off from then.
So from 6 years old, was that tackle football that you started with, or was that like you were starting with flag and 2-hand touch?
No, it was tackle. It's been tackle ever since.
Tough boy right here. Tough boy. So as you started to grow, you always played running back from the very beginning? Did you play any other positions?
I played linebacker. I played like running back and linebacker really like when I was kind of like in Pee Wee, and then up until my sophomore year in high school was my last year playing on defense as well.
So I know that you went to Marietta High School. Did you grow up in Marietta? Is that the place that you always lived?
No, I had actually lived in Atlanta before, and then I kind of moved out there to Marietta. But yeah, I really enjoyed living out there in Marietta.
What's the biggest difference between Marietta and Atlanta?
I'll probably say just it's kind of interesting because I feel like we had a really good culture at my high school. It was obviously it was 7A. My senior year we won the state championship, and I really think like it was almost like like a Friday night lights kind of school. Like football is really important there. So it was. I feel like that, and then it was also kind of like a smaller town, so everybody you kind of had that thing where you run into people at the grocery store, and like little things like that.
What did you grow up? So it's Georgia, you're Georgia based. Does that mean that you grew up like a Bulldogs fan? Or you Tech, or like what your dad, you said, went to FAMU, so were you, really into the HBCUs? Like, talk about your fandom growing up a little bit.
Really, really and truly, I didn't really um, I didn't necessarily really have a fandom towards any of the schools really. Um, Growing up, I really just watched running backs. Like I fell in love with certain running backs. It really wasn't like a school kind of thing for me.
Who was it? Who are some of the running backs that you watched and maybe modeled your game after?
I definitely watched like when I was growing up. I really watched a lot of Adrian Peterson.
Hmm.
Um, Watched a good bit of before I was kind of like when he was still in college, Ezekiel Elliott.
Hmm.
Uh, like just a lot of guys like that.
Who would you say was the biggest, influence on you as a player? And was there a guy that you kind of looked up to and wanted to model your game after?
I'd probably say my dad, to be quite honest with you. At least when I was growing up, because he had a he had a highlight tape like on his like disc, and we used to just throw it in there and kind of we watched it a lot. I don't even know where it is now, but I kind of want to go back and watch it for real, just to kind of compare to him, a little bit. But yeah, like growing up, like really when I was like, starting out, I really watched him a lot. And then like I kind of went away from it just cause like, yeah, dad's getting kind of
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah, I kind of went back to it a little bit just to kind of like back in high school, just to kind of like see like things I can pick up on and learn from.
So for you, uh, you were at Troy pretty much your entire career. Your entire career. You get the Hula Bowl invite. Well, I guess I shouldn't get into Hula Bowl yet. First off, Troy, making the jump from high school to Troy. What was that like? Going from 7A high school football to playing in the Sun Belt, playing in Troy.
It was interesting. A lot of the players at my school were really big name guys. I had played with um, a 5 star, multiple 4 stars, um, and they're obviously getting a lot of attention from a lot of schools, big name schools as well. And I just I had saw the kind of love that they were getting from those schools, and I just wanted to have that same thing for me. And then also, I mean, I had technically what people would call bigger offers. I had LSU and South Carolina when I was in high school, and was really just chasing that feeling. And then also, I wanted to go to a school that really was a football school where it was like where it was really like a characteristic of that school. And I really thought that Troy had that. There's not much there, so I really I knew I was gonna go there and just be on the mission. Like I was just gonna go there and it was just gonna be football. So that's why I picked Troy.
Did you notice a jump, like a level in the play that was different going from that level of high school to the Sun Belt? Because, I think there's a lot of people that kind of want to like crap on the Sun Belt and they'd be like, no, the Sun Belt doesn't mean anything, but Sun Belt's not a big deal. But I like watching the Sun Belt personally. I'm down here in the South. I'm with you, in Tennessee. I don't think we have a Sun Belt team in Tennessee right now. But
No.
Alabama, obviously with Troy, and then the Georgia schools and Louisiana and all into all those places. So what did that jump kind of look like on the field?
It was really just bigger, stronger, faster. I really think that's anywhere you go, really, from high school to college. I mean, it's some it's a lot of good athletes out there, and And I would really say like, about the whole thing about the Sun Belt and comparing it to other conferences. I really think like it's definitely top tier. Um, just playing in it, playing other schools. I really think, it kind of gets some hit down just because there's not like a clear number one team. If anything, that shows why it's such a great conference because anyone can be anyone in any week. It's like a bloodbath every single week in there. And I really think it's also one of the more physical conferences in the nation. I mean, out there, you know. But yeah.
No, so you guys got the opportunity this year to win a Sun Belt championship too, and that that championship game was nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was crazy.
So talk about is there an adjustment you have to make as a running back when you face those kind of conditions? Because if you, in case you're listening, right, and you didn't watch the Sun Belt championship, it was 13-9, correct? That was the final score.
Oh, against
App State.
no, it wasn't.
Oh, no. 49-23. Okay, yeah. My bad. I think I was thinking about the App State. Never mind. Okay. So 49-23. When you're in rainy conditions, and this, so I guess to take the Sun Belt Championship, I got my games mixed up in my head. My bad. If you're running back in rainy conditions and the field starts to get sloppy, is there an adjustment you have to make as a player to kind of get on that?
Yeah, definitely. If it's like a straight downpour, you probably have to take off your gloves just because you need to feel the ball. I feel like when you have gloves on, you can kind of lose track of where the ball really is in terms of your hands. And then also just as a running back and just moving on the field, you have to keep your feet under you a little bit more, and probably have to run with a wider base just so you can make sure you're not slipping everywhere.
One of the things I noticed about you is that you're already going to be considered by some people a smaller running back, right? 5'7". You're not. That doesn't mean that you're tight. That you're a small guy. You're 215. Like you built, you stocky. But some people are going to consider you in that round. Now, I think that you run with a really low center of gravity. Is that something that just kind of came natural to you, or is that something that you had to kind of work on and build on?
No, it definitely it pretty much came natural to me. I mean, ever since I was younger, I don't think I've ever had like a instance where I felt like I was too high in a scenario.
You go to Mobile, you get a chance to play at the Senior Bowl, you get that invite. You were actually invited to the Hula Bowl first, right?
Yep.
And then you got the Senior Bowl invite, so you ended up just going to Mobile and doing it there. What was the biggest kind of thing that you noticed about Mobile that kind of stood out from maybe the rest of any football experience that you'd had that made it different, that made it unique?
I would say just the level of focus that you needed for the entire week. You going literally from 6:30 to 10:30 at night. You're doing meetings, interviews, practice, literally, and you kind of have to like just be on your p's and q's like all day. And I was like, I feel like that's how the NFL is a little bit, just because it's so much of that kind of stuff. Um, Probably minus like in interviews with the teams, that part is that obviously out, but yeah, it was just a level of focus, like just constantly the entire week, I would say.
Do you want to talk about the interviews a little bit from the Senior Bowl? And maybe was there a crazy question that kind of stuck in your mind that somebody asked you?
So my very first interview that I sat down to do, they asked me what was the square root of 243. I said I don't think, I'm not sure if there is one. I kind of like went just like that. I'm not sure if there is one. So
Well,
yeah,
welcome to the NFL.
yeah,
What's the square?
yeah.
So, you got the opportunity to work through, a lot of drills. Was there, almost a step up in competition on the field, on the practice field at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, no, there definitely was. It felt like it. it literally felt like it was 3 games back to back, like, and that level of focus and like physicality. Really, obviously, we didn't go to the ground, so it wasn't as like taxing on the body,
Mm-hmm.
and your reps were limited. But when you went, it felt like a game.
So talk about some of your strengths, some of the things that you take pride in with your game. What is it you think that you're going to bring to an NFL team on the field right away that's going to be that strength, that's going to be that bread and butter type thing that you lean on?
I would say being able to run through the tackles consistently. I mean, in that game that you talked about, I had I think 26 carries. I mean, there's multiple times over the year where I had over 20 carries and I was able to wear down a defense. And then also, I would even say like I don't think it really like I feel like it kind of goes over some media, but I'll also say durability. The last 2 years I've yet to miss a game. Um, so and with my load, I think that a lot of people in my situation would I don't think they'd be able to do that, to withstand that kind of I guess that kind of load.
That kind of workload, because we're
Yeah.
talking about over the last 2 years, you've started all but one game. And at least on PFF is what they had listed, 27 starts, 28 games, and then you started 11 the year before that too, in 21. So when you talk about, some people might say, oh, well, he's got some used tires, right? What would kind of be your response to that?
I mean, I would just say, literally just check the stats. I mean, just all you have to do is look and see that like I don't really, I'm not really out of games a whole lot. And then even like I mean, I missed time my freshman year, but I mean, obviously, like I'm a freshman, so I'm gonna miss time. But just as the workload increased, I played more. If you get one, like I played more consistently.
Not just consistently, but they gave you more opportunity too, and I think that's part of the message here, right? Where it means you're getting better every single day. Is there a certain mindset to that you had to take an approach to your training and the way that you went about preparing for the next game? Was there a certain saying that you may lean on?
Um, Actually, I had well, obviously, like throughout the week, you have to do like some rehab stuff, just to kind of like make sure everything's good, prehab, like get on top of things before they happen. But for me, I like to journal, so I like obviously I just journal like about like just things about that happened during the day. Um, but then also I like to write a note to myself before the game, and then like I'll read it on game day to kind of like get me going a little bit, because I feel like I run better or I play better when I'm upset or angry.
So it's the anger. It's you. That's your edge right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll pretty much just take something like anyone says or like pretty much anything like that, or even does. And sometimes I kind of like I like to twist it just a touch, just so I could like kind of like get it going.
Oh, you mean like Patrick Mahomes did this year with the Super Bowl? That kind of twist?
Yeah, I guess so. Or you can even say like a couple, like last year when Georgia was so convinced that they were going to go 7-5. I guess you could say something like that.
So let's talk about the combine, because that's kind of the next big thing I think on the calendar for you. Is you got the combine invite this year. You're going to Indianapolis. So what does that prep look like? What is the kind of focus, and what do you do to prepare for just the biggest job interview, the job expo that you're ever going to be at, most likely?
I'll probably just say just like make sure that you have everything covered. Obviously, like I know the 40 is like one of the most talked about things about the combine. And then also I'll probably say like some interview prep things, just off the field stuff, and like just things like that.
What do you have any idea what that 40 is going to look like that you can provide us, with, or is that something that we're going to keep close to the chest until, we get out there on the field?
I'm not gonna say any numbers, but I'm very certain it's faster than what a lot of people think.
That would be awesome.
I've been kind of looking a little bit. I've been peeking over the fence a little bit just to see, because I know what people are saying.
Well, I mean, there are prop bets on what your 40 is going to be, so that's not intimidating at all, is it? Right?
No, not at all, not at all. Do you know what do you know what it is?
I think it's like 4.65 right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice.
Motivation right there, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing it happen live. No, some of the other stuff that I liked about your game, was I thought you were a decent run. You had some decent run power to it and some shiftiness that's really underrated. Like one of the things about being low and having a low center of gravity is you talked about contact balance. I don't think you use that terminology, but that's what it is. Breaking tackles, running through tackles, contact balance, and having that. But you've got some shiftiness there too, where when we played that highlight clip, you could see, oh yeah, the little short burst here and there. You come off that juke, and you accelerate. You hit that. You go from 0 to 60 pretty darn fast. So if there was one thing that you thought that you needed to improve on going into this year, and you kind of wanted to maybe work on and shore up, what would that be out of your game?
I'll probably say, like, just right out of the gate, I'll probably say, like, getting better at watching film, which I know a lot of people won't say, but I would just say that just because, like, I feel like there's more key things I can pick up on, like, throughout the week. And then also, I'll probably say, like, just technique with pass blocking, route running, things like that, just to kind of like just clean up on the details.
Awesome. So the last thing that I'm going to ask you about is, as you get ready for the combine, you get ready for your pro day, you get ready for the draft. Do you have any major big expectations? Do you have anything that you're kind of sitting there going, I'm kind of expecting this, kind of expecting that, and what is that at this point? What is that expectation?
Well, it's kind of messed up because I can't technically say it, but I would say, like, surprise people with the 40. To be quite honest with you, I feel like everything else is kind of comes natural to me. Yeah, I mean, like, the on-field stuff is just the on-field stuff. I mean, it's football at the end of the day. It's just routes on there almost. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we do that, I think, everywhere in college and NFL, high school, day one. So I'm not too worried about the on-field stuff. I know I can catch, so yeah.
I know I said last question, but then I popped another one. What's an NFL team getting in Kimani Vidal?
The best back in the draft this year. The 3-down back that can pass block, catch out the backfield, and run the ball.
Awesome stuff, man. Hey, good luck to you this year. It's going to be a heck of a year, I think. I mean, the one thing that's really nice about this process that, you hear people say all the time is, thank God you only do it once. And this is the only time you got to go through all this nonsense. And after this, it's back to football. It's back to all that. So wishing you the best of luck, man, throughout the process. We're going to be rooting for you, looking for you. I'm pretty sure we're going to hear your name get called on draft day. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Shane, get us out of here.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Draft Vogel on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.